publishing the book is that the progressive mind denies there's anything to argue about. You know, some people will pick a fight with me and say, "Oh, the idea that Europe will be Muslim by the year 2030 is absurd. Maybe by 2070 or 2100." Right. So in that case, we're not arguing about the destination. Right. We're only arguing about the length of the journey. But more and more people say, "Well, what would be so wrong? What would be so wrong if the Western world did become Muslim?" And that, I think, is the self-neutering result of the multicultural mindset. You remember Mayor Nagin in New Orleans. When it turned out that a lot of the people who'd moved away didn't want to come back, he got all worried about that because he said New Orleans has always been, quote, a chocolate city, unquote. Mm-hmm. In other words, he thought that who lived there made a difference to what the city was. Why can't you make that point about Italians in Milan? Why can't you make that point about Swedes in Malmö? Why can't you make that point about Dutch people in Rotterdam? And I think that's what I find fascinating, that the leftist progressives say, well, what's the big deal if the whole world becomes Muslim? What would be wrong with that? Right. And I think the response to that is, well, look, you know, okay, which currently Muslim city would you want to live in? Exactly. I like the Muslim world. I spent a lot of time in the Muslim world. I love Amman. I love Cairo. I love visiting them. But would I want to raise a family in Cairo? Would I want to try and do business in Cairo? Would I want to try and exercise my right to free speech, even in Jordan, which is a supposedly moderate Muslim state? No. I'm very happy to visit them, but I'm very happy to come home to free, pluralist Western societies.
All right, let's move on to a critic of yours who plays fair, to the extent that he certainly doesn't want all of Europe to become radical Muslim and understands that something is at stake. Christopher?